Afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to yet another, apparently it's called a Joe and Liam show.
It is.
It's not a Liam and Joe show anymore.
People know what it's about.
They've changed the name of the show, Jay.
Yeah, they love us lots and lots.
Welcome back to another Liam and Joe show. The start of your streaming week for 40k content, because no one watches anything on Mondays. Oh, well, apart from DMZ.
Yeah.
When Joe can get his Xbox to work. Otherwise, today, like I said, is the start of our stream schedule for the week. We have the Liam and Joe show. Tonight we have a brand new members-only game, and we thought we would show off what we're showcasing in tonight's members-only game. That is a brand new Flesh Tearers army that Joe has been frantically painting up. Yeah. So we have a 1,750-point game tonight using the Flesh Tearers and the brand new big, what's his name? Brutalis?
Mr. Fist.
I don't like the naming.
The Fistatron.
I don't like the man who has the naming job at Games Workshop. I don't feel like he has a great time of it. The Brutalis Dreadnought. We have that.
Like Brutus. Wasn't that the bad guy from Popeye?
We don't, however, have the Desperation Marines, the Disappointment Marines, Desolation Marines.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of those work.
It's just because once I've got this, I've got 2 more Dreadnoughts to do for this army, and then I need to order some stuff to make Death Company. But then I've got... We're either doing the Wolves or we're doing the Minotaurs next, I guess.
I'm feeling Wolves at the moment, but
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. So if you're new here, if you haven't watched our streams before, whether on demand or live, please make sure you do the magical things for us, the things that YouTube loves the most. Hit the like button if you like the stream, the dislike if you don't like the stream. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It will let you comment in the live chat if you're watching live. Otherwise, if you're watching it on demand, YouTube shows us that somewhere between 30 to 35% of you that watch our content aren't subscribed, and it's free, so just do that for us.
Tell them dislike it.
We can do. That's
no,
fine.
Only good stuff.
No.
No, we don't take negative
Joe,
comments.
YouTube doesn't care whether it's a thumbs up or thumbs down, and all the sad people that put the thumbs down don't realise they're actually helping us.
Good.
So the best way to hurt a stream isn't to press a thumbs down, it's just to press nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
But they like to thumbs down, so we let them do it because, yeah, it's good.
Because I'm a scalper.
I'm going to thumbs down your stream.
Yeah.
Cool, okay, thanks. That's good engagement from YouTube's perspective.
Thank you.
So do that, and if you haven't, you can hit that bell notification icon to be notified every time we go live or we drop a video. And that's now a thing, we're now dropping videos. So on Saturday just gone, we put on there World Eaters versus, I want to say Black Legion, was it?
At the moment, it just seems to be World Eaters versus.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's true. So I think no. Yes, hang on. Which one's going live? Which one was supposed to go live in DZ today?
I think Black Legion's already gone up.
Yeah. There was one that was supposed to go live in DZ, and it failed to launch, so I have to go and check that after the stream so I can get the video out. But it is coming out today.
The Guard or NIDS?
Today in Deployment Zone is when you played Ultramarines.
Oh, yeah.
Against World Eaters, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which will be going up on Saturday for all of our channel members. So you get to see it first in DZ on the Tuesday, but if you don't want to be a DZ subscriber, you can be a channel member at Skull tier and above, and you will be able to see that from Saturday on the channel. And that will count for these people. Have you seen these people? So we have Dunkelzahn, right, who's become a Skald hero. Nice. We've got Donald who's upgraded to Jarl, what Jarl talking about. So he'll get access to the Jarl's giveaway every single month. We've got Chaotic Failure, who gifted 5 members. Hero, what a hero. And then the Ginger Ninja also became a Jarl. Nice. So you lot will all get to watch the World Eaters take on Joe with the Ultramarines, not Bron with the Ultramarines.
Yeah.
Yeah, exciting.
It's a good game, actually.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good game, actually. It was interesting. So yeah, so that's the start of our content week. Like I said, we've got members only tonight. Members only tonight will be Flesh Tearers. We've got the 40k show tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. We've got another game of 40k. Paddy's here for chat plays Thursday, 7:30. Friday becomes more 40k after dark. And this week, I might even do some form of a Sunday show, either on this channel or on the gaming channel. If you don't know what the fuck the gaming channel is, where have you been? If you check the video link below, the description, if you check the video description below, that's what I needed to say, there's a channel link to another channel where Joe and I are starting to play some video games when things work. Right? Cool. All the stuff and all the things. But thank you so much to you beautiful people that have already gifted memberships. It's amazing. Before we even got started as well. Yeah. Anywho, today's topic. This is something that was brought up on a stream to me recently, and I've done a little bit more looking into it from some of the more recent releases.
And I thought, stain on society.
I thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about and to hear Joe's thoughts about as well, because we did a little bit of chat about it on that said stream. But it's often, a lot of the times I'm recycling topics for the Liam and Joe show simply because we get your perspective, which is interesting. And you don't watch any of my streams because you're busy playing games yourself. So you have no influence from what I've said previously.
No.
You just say how you feel and what you think. And we're talking today a little bit about scalpers. And the title of the video is GW needs to do more to combat scalpers. And I genuinely actually think that this is the case. I think they do need to do more. What I'm not suggesting necessarily is that they have to put software in place to stop scalpers from using bots, because I don't know if that's ever going to be a war that they will win. What we are talking about, however, is perhaps how they release boxes, how they allow people to virtually purchase these products, whether they have a queue-based system, whether it is in fact a good idea to release boxes of brand new models which are then surrounded by old kits. And so that creates a whole different kind of eBay economy that we'll talk about a little bit later. Now, for me, this has become a real problem. The biggest indicator of this problem was one of the more recent releases from Black Library, where they released the latest Siege of Terror book, and that thing was £50 for a limited edition hardback book on the Games Workshop website. Limited edition hardback, £50.
It's cheap for them, actually.
It's reasonable, to be fair. For Games Workshop prices, at least, it's reasonable. That thing then appeared on the eBay across the globe at anywhere between sort of £450 up to about £1,000. People actually, and some of these books I saw at £500-600 with 22 bids on them. So what at this point we know it is going to sell because it's got 22 bids on it at 600 quid. Now, if you are one of these people who have slowly but surely been collecting every single limited edition Siege of Terror book, and you got to this last one and you couldn't get your hands on it because people had bot sniped it off of the website straight away, and your only option was to head to eBay, to then even contemplate paying £600 is pretty crazy. But it's not just books. Talking of books, however, I recently went onto the eBays because of this topic that I was thinking about, with my intent was to see if I could find a limited edition World Users Codex. Now, there's two reasons why I didn't buy a limited edition World Users Codex when it came out. The first, in fact, three reasons. I lied to you. There's three reasons, okay? The first reason was because Games Workshop was supposed to have been sending me an English version of one. Still not received.
No, they were going to send you a version, and then it just turned out not to be the English.
So still not received my English version of it. Second reason was, at the time, I wasn't entirely convinced that I was completely sold by World Eaters. I have recently done a stream explaining that I was in fact wrong about World Eaters. Apparently that's quite popular. People like it when I'm wrong. The third reason was because I was in fact at Beachhead as well. So I was playing at the point in which it went live. And the problem with Games Workshop's pre-orders for limited edition stuff is you literally have a 30-second window. And if you're not sat at a desktop computer, web browser, refresh, from about 10:2, you've got no chance. No. They just go, right? So that's the three reasons. So I was like, I actually really want a World Eaters limited edition codex. So I went looking for one. Yeah. The cheapest I found was a buy it now price of £300 on eBay. It's the cheapest I could find. In fact, it's the only one I could find on eBay. £300 limited edition. So if you know anyone who wants to shift the limited edition World Eaters Codex, no, I'm joking. So that's books. Then we look at models, right? Now we do know for a fact, because it went up on pre-order this weekend, that people are picking up Strike Force Augustus. Yeah. Because mostly, the new Brutalis Dreadnought. Yeah. There are some crazy crackheads that have mentioned on the channel that they are interested in the Desolation Marines. You're wrong, but they exist.
I think they're only good in either fists or iron hands.
I would agree, but it's not even about what they're good in. It's about what they look like. They look horrendous. They look stupid. That's not the topic. We're not going to go down that way. However, people are buying the box. And because Games Workshop have this new thing that they're doing, where they release this big box set, we haven't got any more, we used to have them behind us, these big box sets about this big, right? And they'll have something like the Brutalis Dreadnought in it, or they'll have something like Vashtor in it, or something like Azrael in it. And people will look like, if you're a Dark Angels player and you've played Dark Angels for the last 10 years, you look at that box set, you probably don't need any more Deathwing Terminators, you probably don't want any more Intercessors, you probably just want Azrael. So at the moment, your only option currently, and this will change, we should assume, but your only option currently to get your hands on the brand new Azrael model is to either buy the box, and which you've got a lot of stuff you probably don't want, or head to eBay, which creates two issues, right? So the first things first, if you buy the box and you buy Azrael, and that's what you're buying for the £100 odd, you then think, well, what do I need to do with Vashtor? with the cultists, with everything else in this box. Well, logically, I'm just going to try and sell it myself.
Yeah.
So you go to eBay, you put all this stuff on eBay, and you put it on eBay at what is probably a slightly reduced price, because actually the boxes are typically good value. Okay,
Yeah,
so typically you get more plastic than you've originally bought. So you can put your intercessors on eBay at 20 quid.
Yeah.
And you can put your Deathwing Terminators on eBay at 20 quid, right? And at the point in which you've sold everything else from that box set, you've probably made the value of the box set back, and you've got Azrael for free. So there's nothing to discourage people from doing that than simply the effort of selling on eBay, right? Which also means we create this weird eBay economy market thing where it's just flat cheaper than even independent retailers.
Yeah, you're basically killing the market, the second-hand market for that.
You're absolutely killing the second-hand market.
Because the moment more than 10 go online, the price will dip. And when you've got 100 of the same thing going online at the same time, it dips even more. You saw the same thing when, was it Indomitus came out?
Yes.
When the Indomitus box
And,
came out.
Necrons and Primaris flooded eBay.
Yeah, and you could buy a unit of 3 Blade Guard for about a tenner.
You could. Well, we'll get on to that in a moment. And then you have the other side of this coin, what we were talking about. So you've bought the box for just Azrael, but someone out there is going to want to buy the box for, say, just Vashtor. Right? That's going to be a thing. That's going to be a thing that someone's probably going to want to do. If you're the Dark Angels player at this point and you've bought the box for just Azrael and you've sold Intercessors for 20 quid and you've sold Deathwing for 20 quid, what you're probably going to do with Vashtor at this point in time?
Probably sell him.
You're probably going to sell him, and you're probably going to sell him for a lot more.
Yeah.
Because you know that is the one model that everybody's after.
Yeah.
So you're going to put Vashtor on for 70, 80, 90 quid probably. Now the box has cost you like 110, 120 pound in the first place.
Yeah.
So if you're the person who doesn't want to buy the box and go through the sort of hassle of having to sell everything individually on eBay, and you decide to go to eBay just to buy Vashtor, just to buy Azrael, you're probably paying more than you should for that model at that point.
The box set itself.
So that's a whole other problem, because this is where we then go into scalpers who go, well, hang on, I actually know for a fact that I could sell Azrael for 50 quid and Vashtor for 70 quid, say for sake of argument. And I'm throwing numbers out there, right? These aren't necessarily accurate. That's £120. That's the box set paid for.
Yeah.
So then everything else in that box set is just profit.
Yeah.
That's an issue in itself.
Yeah.
So how do Games Workshop stop this from happening?
Well, especially when you think like, if you don't buy them direct from Games Workshop and you're already saving through other
Element Games.
Like Element Games.
Look at
Town sponsor there. Then you're making even more money.
Yeah, you are, exactly.
But what you're doing is you're taking away from people that actually want all of it.
So there's a couple of things they could do, okay? So what we're typically seeing with some of these higher value limited edition items, i.e. the Siege of Terror book, is that people are using essentially bots.
Yeah.
You're using software to be able to be one of the first people to buy that particular piece of kit. Now I'm sure Games Workshop could introduce anti-bot software, things like Capture, stuff like that, to allow you to have to verify that you're actually a human being before you can purchase it. I believe at one point they did in fact have a digital queue-based system for limited edition, which worked quite nicely. So you had to essentially get in a queue, which I quite like as well. Made to order isn't necessarily the greatest when you definitely want the thing to be limited.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at limited edition 1 of 500 books, made to order doesn't work. But when we're looking at certain box sets that are coming out, made to order would mean that they know they can at least make what has been ordered.
Yeah.
That would solve the problem. And here's one of the other things that I really want to start seeing, and they're never going to do this, and everyone's going to tell me I'm wrong here, but this is something I really want to see. If you're going to release a new box set with a Brutalis Dreadnought in it and Desolation Marines, what I want to see is you to go, hey, here's this great 100 and whatever pound box set, right? And it's got all these things in it, and it is good value, and it is cheaper than buying them separately. But what we're going to do at the same time is we're going to release the Desolation Marines, the Lieutenant, and the Brutalis Dreadnought all separately. So if you just want the Brutalis Dreadnought, you can just buy the Brutalis Dreadnought. And if you just want the Lieutenant, you can just buy the Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Because that stops people from creating this really weird eBay economy of loads of heavy intercessors. And actually, Joe and I looked earlier at eBay before we went live, and you can get Desolation Marines now for 20 quid, And I mean, I've seen.
So some of them are like they've been up live for a couple of days. They've got a couple of days left, and they're only at £5.
Yeah, there's one that was due to finish in 4 hours, which has 0 bids at £24.95 for 5 Desolation Marines, because they're just dog shit.
And there'll be a lot more than that when they come out from Games Workshop.
Oh, 100%. Well, there'll be £35 at least, almost definitely.
Do you know what I want to see for really limited edition stuff?
Go on.
Right, bring back skulls or whatever the modern day version of that is, like a loyalty program.
Okay.
So back in the day, there used to be the skull sticker program. Every time you spent a tenner in a Games Workshop stop, you got a sticker.
Oh, really?
And you filled them out in your sticker book. They're all the same. And it was quite big. It was like that long. So if you get 10 stickers, you can send it off, and you get like some paint or something, or some paint brushes. And then it was like if you got like 20 of them, you could get like a Space Marine Captain, like a limited Space Marine Captain model. If you got like 100 of them, there was like a limited edition like metal Ultramarine Standard Bearer, which is beautiful. But you can only get these special things through doing a certain thing, or codes in White Dwarf. Unique codes, obviously not one code fits all. So if you really want that limited edition model, that limited edition kit, you can't just go and buy it and bot spam it. If you're a reseller, you have to do the legwork of going to get the book, going to get the code, then filling it in online, or multiple codes, right? So, or limited edition stuff, you can order it online, but you can only pick it up from the shop.
Well, interesting as well, people have said to me that GW used to have a policy where you couldn't resell brand new on eBay.
So you can't sell brand new on eBay. So you can't use their. So currently the rule is if you're selling a product second hand that's not been on sale yet, you can't use their imagery.
But people are.
Yeah. So basically, someone at Games Workshop is currently going through eBay at some point. They've probably given up at this point. Just clicking, going, find like copyright. They're using our imagery. Find done. Copyright, and then those ones will get taken down.
I feel like they should give me that job. I would happily sit there.
But if it's like retailers, for instance, Factorum, for instance, they couldn't buy a product in and then sell eBay stuff second hand because they're using their account to buy stuff cheap to then sell it second hand to make a profit. So retailers can't do it. It's a bit more of a grey area for people like us. So basically, if they were to sell that limited edition book properly, they'd have to receive it first.
But so exactly, this is where the grey area sits, where I don't feel like it's so grey though, Joe. Surely, if they've already got the listing on eBay before they've even received a copy of the book, and let's face it, the way Games Workshop shipping currently is, they probably haven't received it yet. No. And if you've ordered anything in the last couple of weeks from Games Workshop, you realise you're probably waiting 6 months before the robot finally decides to pick it and send it to you. That can't be a grey area, surely. No. That's got to be you've only bought this book to profiteer from it.
I know there's a lot of people that go through the effort if they've got bids on it, for instance, like the sexy Horus Heresy books. I'll bid £2,000 and then just not pay for it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I don't use eBay.
Yeah. So basically they just create crappy accounts, buy something for ridiculous money, they'll do it, and eBay's like, cool, we'll shut your account. And you're like, cool, I don't care.
I mean... And now I know what I'm doing all afternoon.
Yeah. Because because people who like Heresy love Heresy, and if you've invested £200-300 in the limited edition books, like the Primarch novel was limited edition, they went through the same process. Like people realise how much people want them, they're like, oh, I'll buy it and put it up for stupid money. If this is the first book of the final trilogy, or whatever it is, and they are straight fucking people. And it grips my shit.
And this is people that have, this is what I'm saying, this is people that have collected all of the limited edition books to this point. And people just obviously were aware that these would just end up being flat worth more.
And the problem is that because people want it, it just creates value.
The other thing as well is, so and this is where it's a really weird, it's a really strange, thing, is that I really want the World Eaters Codex.
Yeah.
I really want the World Eaters Limited Edition Codex. And what do I actually get for the World Eaters Limited Edition Codex? Fuck all. You get a slightly different cover, you get some nice edged paging, and you get a ribbon.
So I think there's a reason for this, right? So in 7th edition, they're all the rage. They had a normal version of the Codex, and then the sexy black cover art version of the Codex. Right?
Yeah.
So every time a new codex came out, there was this really kind of black, silver, white, kind of like slightly metal looking limited edition covers they did. I don't know if we've got any in here.
I did have.
No, I don't know. The kind of like, no. Basically, they're really, really beautiful covers, which were completely different to the normal one, and they were selling them at 50 quid.
Yeah, I used to have a bunch of them.
You could guarantee, like the normal version would be 30 quid, the limited edition was 50 quid, and these were sold out. The resale market for those was insane, right? So Games Workshop did, when the new editions started coming out, they just released shit cover versions. But you can have the one with the artwork on, and Warhammer.
But those old limited edition codex, you used to get a little bit in it that said, you are book 597 of 2000. Like, I love that. I was mad for that stuff.
But I think I paid 80 quid for like the Harlequins version of it.
I had Death Guard, Eldar, Dark Angels originally. The old Dark Angels one.
I had the Drakari one, obviously, and that was nice.
Yes.
I had to fight someone for that, very much.
I am aware that we are a year into content chat and Joe still doesn't know how to place a fucking microphone. I have turned him up a little bit now because for some reason he still points it low down on his jacket, pointing out to his shoulder because apparently noise comes from his shoulder, not from his mouth.
It does. I just have a deep...
I've been through this conversation with him repeatedly. Centre, facing up, it's omnidirectional, but it still needs to be facing you. No, he still puts it on his jacket, down by his nipple, facing the fucking wall. Anyway, big shout out to the Ginger Ninja, who has become a member at Yalta. Donald, who gifted in a membership. Big Ron became a Scald, and we'll get excited about that members only content. And then the Lonely Bolter said, for months couldn't go to Forge Well without clicking 7 buses, yet can't fix scalpers. GW, yeah. You know what he means by clicking 7 buses?
What's that?
The when you go, click a picture with a bus in it. And some of them are really fucking frustrating. And Kyodude says, still waiting for my Angron, Arcs of an Abaddon and Angron. All were ordered on pre-order. It's heartbreaking to still be waiting. That's, it's bad when that happens. Like, this is the other thing as well, right? So I had another email saying 8-bound are back in stock. So I ordered some 8-bound because I needed more 8-bound for my Wild Eaters. Not dispatched. Still not dispatched. They told me they were in stock. I ordered them when they said, because you literally can't order them when they're out of stock. So they told me they're back in stock, ordered them when they were back in stock, still haven't got them.
Is that because, like, obviously they replaced all of their minions with robots, didn't they?
I actually still ordered, I still have 2 or 3 boxes on order from Element from pre-order day. Because Element didn't get enough stock.
So I imagine what they could have done is just taken all the robots out and then replaced the robots with actual people again.
I mean, at the moment, they should be bringing. I would be bringing. If I was Games Workshop right now, I think, and I don't know how their plant works, right? So, pinch of salt, people, because I'm not Games Workshop. But if I was GW right now, I honestly would be hiring on part-time, temporary wage basis, contractors almost, to come in and start fucking getting my orders out the door.
Yeah.
Because this has now been going on for months. Like, this is a whole different issue to scalpers, but this has now been going on for months.
Yeah.
Where people are making orders on pre-order day from the GW website, not even independent retailers, and they're just not getting out the door.
Yeah.
But then here's another problem, and this isn't even related to limited edition stuff, but here's another problem with scalpers. They're just not producing enough right now.
No.
So 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound, Khan, I think Angron almost as well, have been basically out of stock since essentially pre-order.
Yeah.
Like, how, like, This then creates a whole problem for scalping, because what happens when someone's got an Angron model and they're like, well, Angron costs, what's Angron in GW? 90 quid?
Yeah.
I reckon, I've got another Angron in there. I'll go into details as to why in a moment, right? I reckon I could put him on eBay for 140 quid and sell. I'll make a £50 profit off him if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that because I'm not an arsehole.
But it's a weird situation, isn't it? Because like Warhammer's in that kind of position now where, because it's physical items and it's popular enough, people will spend the money. But there's a vast population of people that do this hobby that literally can't afford scalper prices.
No, they can't
So they're
afford scalper
basically
prices.
taking those people out of the game.
But not only can they not afford scalper prices, they also don't really want to have to pay GW prices. So what they do is they go to their independent retailer, people like our sponsors Element, Element chart if you want to use their link. However, what Games Workshop have started doing recently, when they can't fulfill orders out of their own web store, is they then retract stock that they were going to be sending to independent retailers so they can fulfill their own orders. Now, do I blame them for doing that? No, they have to protect their own business first. So I don't blame them necessarily for saying, we have 100 orders, we can only fulfill 80 orders, and if we pull some stock from there, some stock from there, some stock from there, we can then fulfill our last 20 orders, and those independents won't get the stock, and they'll have to wait for us to restock them. I don't blame them making that decision necessarily from a money-making perspective, but how are they not making enough kits for release date? Every single fucking time we have a new release or an update, they sell out. How?
It's because
They're stupid.
the people that make the models are separate from the people that do all the artwork for the models and the rules and the models, who are separate from the people that price the models, who are very separate from the people that ordered them.
Yeah.
So they had this problem when the new Space Marine supplements came out, right? No one told the person who orders the models, like what they do, how popular they will be, how many each person needs for that army. So when they released all the new supplements, which each one came with a new character model, right? In theory, you'd go, well, one book is one character, isn't it? If I bought the book, I'm not going to have to buy more than one of this limited character. What they did is they ordered 1,000 of the books of each book, for instance, and then 10,000 of each kit, single model.
I mean, in business structure, this is essentially called silo. They're operating in silos, right? And every major corporation I've worked with or for has often operated in silos, and it's always such an incredibly stupid way of working, but there's probably reasons why it ends up this way, where different departments just flat don't talk to each other, don't communicate, and don't make sure that they're all singing from the same song sheet. It happens everywhere. It happened when I was at Rolls-Royce. It happened when I was at Siemens. You know, I'm sure it happens in every major corporation. Games Workshop, however, let's be frank, right? When I'm talking about silos when I'm working for Rolls-Royce, we're talking about a global corporation, right? Who has headquarters all over the place, right? And they have multiple different business units that operate under the main business, the main business parent sort of unit. Same for Siemens. Games Workshop is still predominantly all Lenton Road. It's still all predominantly Nottingham. Most of the time in Games Workshop, not all of the time, but most of the time, it means walking across the fucking corridor to another office.
Yeah.
Really, right? In essence. Maybe it's a little bit further. Maybe that's across a road, but nonetheless, you're not going far.
Well, you've got the main hall where the shops are.
Yeah.
Right? And then you've got the bit where where everyone eats their food. To one side of that is offices, and then you've got the new office building. But then behind where the gaming hall is, and sometimes underneath it, you've got the production side of things. So it's a weird one, because it literally, if you need to go from production to like the top office in the outside building, what, 5-minute walk?
I mean, yeah.
10 minutes at most if you can stop for a natter.
But when you look at Codex World Eaters, did anybody anywhere genuinely think that these, whether the rules were good or not, weren't going to fucking sell? Let's be frank, they were going to sell. Even if I had have been right and I wasn't, and if the rules were considered terrible by most of the community, and I was wrong, and we've done a stream on that one. We're not going to keep going over it.
Well, you've got to think about it, right? That you'd have to put a lot out, because there's not many kits to that book, is there? Angron, Lord Inferkatos.
So I've been through
Khan,
So I've been through this before,
£8
Jay.
makes 2 units.
So £8 one box.
Yeah.
Lord Inferkatos with Juggerlord is another box. Berserkers, Jackals, Angron. That's your new kits.
Yeah.
Nothing else is new in that book. They didn't make Red Butchers. Not salty about that at all. Haven't brought that up repeatedly. Right, haven't made Red Butchers. You've got Mauler Fiends, Forge Fiends, Helldrakes, Predators, Land Raiders, Khorne, Lord of Skulls, Derp, Old Spawn. Nothing else is new.
Yeah.
5 new kits.
And you got to think each. So, for instance, you want to start a new army of World Eaters, for instance, because they've made it in such a way that if you collect World Eaters already, your army's fucked. Basically, you have to buy a whole new army. So they go. Each person who's playing World Eaters has to buy Lord Inficartus. They have to buy Khan. Well, they might own Khan already, but they might want a fresh new one. They have to order the Juggalo.
They probably aren't right. People can live with old berserkers. They can.
They can.
Although most people, myself included, their old berserkers were kit bashed to have chain axe and chainsword because that was a legal loadout. So what they did do, this is great for marketing, isn't it? We're going to make that loadout illegal. So you have to have berserker chain blade and a pistol of some sort. So everybody who's made chain axe chainsword strictly, I would never enforce this at our events, to be clear, but strictly, if you went to an event, that's an illegal loadout now. You have to have pistol and chainsaw, you can't have two melee weapons.
Power fists are basically the same stat line as
the big daddy.
The chain blade.
Yeah. But some events do really strictly enforce.
Well, Games Workshop has the rule of, was it LGT enforced it as well. You have to have it modelled like it is on the box.
Yeah. So they've got 5 new kits. Berserkers we might be able to get rid of because a lot of people could use their old berserkers. So realistically, you've got 4 kits. Funny old thing, guess which is the only one that you can still buy? Berserkers. You can still buy Jackals, but they're not that good. Angron 8-bound Lord Invocatus. Actually, that one's doing okay, Lord Invocatus. Angron, the Demon Primarch, the big centrepiece of the model, they've still not got back in stock, and 8-bound, and who didn't know that the new elite unit, because they've removed everything else from the codex that you could have, was going to be that popular.
Well, if you want to max it out, so, was it 6, 12, so you need 18 8-bound and 18 Exalted 8-bound.
No, Exalted 8-bound can only come in squads of 3, so 9.
So 9.
So 27 in total.
27, so you have to buy 9 boxes.
Yep.
Right. So you go, well, on average, most people are buying 6, really.
But even if you just take Angron, take the Demon Primarch, the main boy from World Eaters.
He must be flat profit for them as well.
Oh, this is the other thing as well. Like, let's not pretend that they have to individually make each plastic sprue. To be able to produce them, the machine's already there. The machine's just literally pouring liquid plastic in, making a mould, and fucking off out the door.
Someone just goes boop and then throws it onto a pile.
And someone probably doesn't even do that anymore.
No.
Probably done by a machine, Jay. So to be out of stock for this long and to have the shipping problem, my personal opinion is it's just flat embarrassing. Having said that, what it does, go back to the video title, is it feeds scalpers. Because now people are, there's 8-bound kits on eBay for 50, 60 quid.
Yeah.
Right? Which is, I mean, dollars, that's what, $80, $90 roughly? Right?
Yeah.
If we're going to try and convert for American cousins waking up. So that Angron, I've seen Angron for over £120 on eBay, which is $140, $150. It's mental.
It's mad because when you think about it, like you'll put new kits up for. If you try and sell your army second hand, right? Say this army here, 1750. Right? If it had 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, it'd be like, cost of the models. You're looking at 400 quid, right? 500 quid if you've got the Redemptors, right?
Yeah.
So you put it up there, and people are like, I'll give you 300 quid for it. And you're like, but I built and painted this army. This is an army ready to go. And that's much less than what you get it from Element Games.
It's
and you're like, if you paid a commission painter, you'd have to pay the £450 plus nearly £2,000 to have them paint it. And you want it for nothing.
Yeah, it's mad, right?
Yeah.
Just going to quickly jump into the chat because it's been moving a bit. So big shout out Chris for the $10 donation. Thank you very much. Josh, just buy 3D or cast models to make it affordable. I mean, this Josh, to be fair, mate, this is part of the problem that I think Games Workshop are going to have, and I think they're causing this problem themselves to a point. 3D printing is just getting better, and it's getting more affordable. Yeah. The cast certain 3D prints are kicking out now. Some of the 8K 3D printers, yes, they're more expensive, but the detail they're kicking out is just flat incredible. Yeah. Not quite Games Workshop standard, but really not that far off. The cost of resin isn't stupidly high. I think the biggest expense is buying the machine in the first place and the power to run the fucking thing. Yeah. Nonetheless, 3D printer in here, for example, goes burr. You could probably create that same army, 450 quid, for less than half the price if you had the files.
Some of the sculpts I've seen that people have made, I'm like, why would you?
No, I get that, but then Games Workshop have launched Desolation Marines, Joe. So I mean, they're not free of.
I have seen entire 3D printed armies where I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
There's a lot of times I've seen models where I'm like, is it? Isn't it? I don't know.
At the moment, I'm not. I won't do full models. Bases. I like 3D printed bases. They're nice.
There was an individual at an event I went to recently, and I'm not going to name names or name the event that I went to, who had a bunch of Zeech Flamers on the table for his Chaos Demons army, and I had no idea until an arm broke off that they weren't plastic.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need to glue this arm back on. Have you got any super glue? No, we've got plastic glue. It won't work. Really? Looked a bit closer. Oh, they're resin.
Yeah.
So some of the sculpts, this is how good these 3D printers are getting. GW, I think, my gut feeling, and chat, tell me if you think I'm wrong, but my gut feeling is that on the whole, the majority of people would probably rather buy their plastic kits from GW because the building and painting of the plastic kits is all part of the hobby that we love.
Yeah.
And on the whole, they create mostly the nicest sculpts that exist.
Yeah.
But if you're going to, 1, charge extortionate prices, 2, not make enough sculpts so that you have to buy them from scalpers on eBay, or 3, just flat not ship your fucking orders, that's a triumvirate of problems which will push people to other options.
What annoys me is the fact that Games Workshop won't provide something and then cease and desist people that are. Which is because, for instance, I have a Flesh Tearers army. Games Workshop doesn't provide Flesh Tearers shoulder pads, so I had to go to eBay to buy 3D printed ones off of someone, and then I thought, well, I can't get the 3D print sections for the Dreadnought shoulder pads. I best use the transfers instead. Games Workshop don't provide transfers, and all the companies in the UK that do can't anymore.
See, the thing is, for me, like I feel like we sound like we're shouting out and hating on GW, which to some extent I am. But the problem the reason why I find it really easy to get worked up about this is I often feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, right? I don't run a £1 billion business that sits in Nottingham, but I feel like a lot of the times these would be relatively easy fixes on the whole. And I feel like this comes from a place of them maybe resting on their laurels a little bit, maybe just not giving a fuck, and be like, well, I mean, we're making money. But the other thing that makes me really, really laugh is if they got orders out the door quickly and they made more sculpts, surely they just sell more kits. Yeah. So they'd make more money. It doesn't make sense to me, Joe.
Do you think everyone that's been trying to get hold of the new World Eaters and the Arcs of Omen tournament pack?
Ugh.
Right?
Don't get me started
if
on
I was
that.
Games Workshop now,
Don't get me started on
I
that.
would be like, everyone, you can now buy the Arcs of Omen pack off of the Warhammer 40k app for £5. It's just a digital file that they press on a printer and it prints it out.
But now, because no one can get hold of it, what's everyone doing?
Selling them online for ridiculous money.
Or Google Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Like we're in a place now. I've now run my second GT in Arcs of Omen Grand Tournament, and I have to stand there in the morning brief, and I have to say to people in the morning brief, I am aware that some of you still don't have your Arcs of Omen Grand Tournament pack. So there's 2 things you can do. Firstly, if you come and find me, you can take photos from my book of your faction secondaries, the generic secondaries, and the mission in question. I won't let you photograph the whole book, but I need you to have those rules because you're playing in our tournament, right? And it's not your fault you haven't got your book yet. The second thing you can do is you can open Google and go to Wikipedia. Now, do I want to push anybody to a third-party site away from the business that basically my whole livelihood is built on? Of course I don't. It doesn't make any sense. Here's what I want to happen. I want Games Workshop to be the most successful company it physically can be, and I want them to make the most amount of money they can so they continue to grow. Why? Because my whole livelihood is based on them. Yeah. So them being successful normally will mean that I have a degree of success as a byproduct.
Yes.
Now, I won't just be one of those channels, and some channels are like this, who are just super pro Games Workshop the whole time, because I don't feel like that's authentic or genuine. I've always said this to the channel. I don't want to be a negative channel, and I'm not going to be a positive channel. I'm just going to say it how I see it. So what I think you're the same. I think Paddy and Brom are pretty the same. I think Chris is the same. We just say what we see. Yeah. Right. That's ultimately all we're going to do. But I want them to be as successful as possible because my livelihood is based on this. So I'm not just hating on GW, but these aren't complicated matters of business, really. No. But if they're going to come across like they just don't give a fuck about their audience, much like Josh has said, they'll just go and find other options and they'll keep playing their games. And if people can't even get their hands on a little A5 book to play Tournament 40k, we're going to have to tell people as tournament organisers, use Wikipedia. You'll get all your rules you need on Wikipedia. Use Battlescribe.
I'm surprised that I've been looking at a lot of the heresy tournament scenes and stuff recently.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my friends are active in it, and I like to see what they get up to. So there's some tournaments now which give you your player pack at the start of the weekend, which is a printed booklet, because one of the guys who runs it works at a printing company. We know someone that works at a printing company, and they're not this helpful, right? Right? Nice printed A4 book, right?
Yeah.
All the missions, basically on every single page, as it would be in the book.
Yeah.
Right? With the picture, the nice fancy pictures, and all the background talk, and then all the mission secondaries on another page, and then each army special rule on another page, so you know what legions they do. Obviously, in 40k that'd be harder because there's so many.
Yeah, of course.
But like, we could do a tournament pack where you've got the first 6 pages, which are all the secondaries, and then you've got the missions, and then you go game 1. This is your mission. Here it is from the book.
Yeah, I might actually start making one.
And I think because
So I foolishly assumed that after Warzone Nephilim, they'd learn their mistake and just print more of Arcs of them in Grand Tournament. No, I didn't do that.
we could make
We're in too easy.
we could make and sell tournament packs.
We can't sell them.
Make a killing.
Can't sell them
Why not?
because it's their intellectual property.
Can we
can't
not
sell
just write it in crayon and then print the crayon written version?
We
of it?
can't sell them. So DZ previously made, well, specifically Winters, made Apocalypse rules, his own version of Apocalypse rules, because he looked at the 40k Apocalypse rules or the Games Workshop Apocalypse rules and went, they're shit. I want to make my own
the
ones.
new ones.
Yeah.
They were
Shit.
They were
So he made his own ones, and he created. We fancified it up into a big PDF document, and we basically said, can we give this away? They said, as long as you're giving it away, yes, you can. You can't sell it. So if we'd have sold it, we'd have got a cease and desist. We could give it away. A big shout out to Meg, who's in chat. Love you, Meg. Loved your cameo. I was in a Titans video last night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So Zach does Mondays in the Mortal Realms, which is their Age of Sigmar show, every Monday night. So UK time, I think it's 2 a.m, Monday night, Tuesday morning. But that means in US time it's earlier, 6 p.m, I think. Yeah, 6 p.m, because they're 8 hours behind us.
Okay.
And what Zach started doing is he's like really weird stop animation things, which are just jokey, shitty little conversation. It's just silly. I love it. It's brilliant. And he said, do you want to be in this one? I was like, yeah, all right. So we recorded a script on Sunday evening, and that went live yesterday.
Oh, lovely.
If you want to see it, check out the AOS Mortal Realms show. If you like AOS, you've probably already seen it because it's Titans, right? But check out Mondays in the Mortal Realms. It's on the Titans channel. And then the first 5 minutes is my voice. There were some lovely comments, and I was watching the live chat replay. Someone said I had the voice of a voice actor. I don't know if that means they just called me ugly.
Yeah. Voice, you got a face for radio.
Face for radio is what I felt like I was saying, yeah. Big shout out to Bereza27, who's become a Jarl hero. You get access to our Jarls only giveaway every single month. I think that finishes tonight.
Well, it's last day of the month, isn't it?
I think it finishes tonight at 7:30.
And if you don't know what the Jarl giveaway is that if you join our members as a Jarl
or above,
and you go into Discord, there's the Jarl giveaway, and all you have to do is like it, don't you?
You just click a little reaction button,
Yeah, click the reaction button, and you get added into the giveaway, and you get a combat patrol.
If you're drawn at random by the bot, you will win a combat patrol box of your choice. Element will send it to me if you're not in the UK or Europe, or they'll send it directly if you are. And then if they send it to me, I'll ship it out to America or Canada or Australia or whatever. Combat patrol box of your choice.
Yeah.
So 90 quid's worth of models. Just because you're a Jarl.
Yeah.
So you pay £9 a month and you could win a £90 box. So if you pay for 10 months and on one of those months you win, you just basically paid for your box, didn't you?
It's not bad.
If you don't win, then tough.
But then, you get the benefit of talking to us.
Yeah, exactly. The big bad Josh became a Hesir, so that gets you in Discord. So every single one of our tiers gives you something. So Hesir, !! Discord, come and join us in the Great Hall, you're a hero. Matt Clare Music, then Super Chat said, saw an Angron for 230 quid on Facebook Marketplace.
Unbuilt?
Wow. Well, I assume so. I feel like built always goes for less.
Yeah, like if you've touched it in any way, if it's not sealed anymore, but then I find that I've sold a lot of stuff on Facebook and stuff over the time, and people like you'll put something sealed online, but it's second hand.
So let's go off on this tangent.
But if it's built and painted nicely, you would expect for it to go for more.
Would you though? Let's go off on this slight tangent because this kind of feeds into scalping as well. One of the reasons why I think scalpers will charge so much is because it's sealed normally. Now there are some differences. Of course, if you looked at this Brutalis Dreadnought, if you looked at Vashtor, if you looked at Azrael, if you looked at the T-shirt launchers, they're probably not going to be sealed because they have to be pulled out of a box set, sometimes snipped off of a sprue if they come on a multi-sprue setup, for example, and they get put into an eBay package and sent off. But if you look at the Siege of Terror book, if you look at Angron, if you look at 8-bound, right, they are always sold as sealed because I feel like they would always make more money. Now, if Siege opened them and painted them and stuck them on eBay, that's not scalping.
No.
You're paying for it, not just the models, but you're paying for a service, right, essentially? So I have less of a problem with that. It's literally the people that take the book and then go straight on eBay sealed.
Yeah.
That's almost always a sign of a scalper.
Yeah.
Because... So again, if someone had bought the bloody... Okay, so...
Or a Votan player.
So World Eaters Limited Edition Codex. If someone had bought the World Eaters Limited Edition Codex, opened it, read through it, looked through it and gone, this isn't really for me, I'm going to move this Limited Edition Codex on eBay, I kind of have a less of a problem with it than someone just buys it sealed, slaps it straight on eBay at a wildly inflated price. Same as if someone came to me today and said, I have a Limited Edition World Eaters Codex, I am prepared to sell it, it's still sealed, and they wanted 80 quid, I might be tempted. What do they get sold at? They get sold at 50 as well?
50. So what I would do if I was anyone, this is a great way of combating it, right? On Facebook, and I've used this group for years, right?
Years.
There is it's like a limited edition loot room, basically. It's something 40k loot. Basically, if you sell anything on it, this is the group rules. You cannot sell it for more than what you purchased it for, apart from postage.
Okay.
Right? So, or what happens is someone goes, I'm going to Games Workshop Greenwich this weekend because it's the store birthday. Who wants the limited edition models? Mm-hmm. And then everyone goes, I'd like the limited edition model, please. And they go, okay, send me the money, I'll get it. And then they send it to you. So they're a collective of people theoretically working against scalpers. But it's more based on the mutual respect of people that are there because they're collectors.
The thing is, right, the biggest thing for me, now we go back to really the ultimate fix, the perfect fix for solving scalping.
Games Workshop doesn't sell limited edition models anymore.
No, I don't know if I'm the only one out there. I'm a fan of limited edition. I like limited edition. I like the prestige of owning something that only a certain number of other people own. Yeah. Maybe that's just me, but this is why limited edition has always been a thing.
I've got my fancy librarian in Terminator armor knocking around.
So I'm just one of those people. I think I would have suggested, we've got 270 people in chat, only 110 likes. Lazy. I'm one of those people that feels like, and I reckon of the 270 people, most people would agree with this. They would want to keep limited edition. If it's your favourite faction that comes out and there's a limited edition model, a limited edition codex, and you get to own one, that's an incredibly excitable moment for even an adult. One of the reasons why I love the old limited edition books with the black codex artwork that you were talking about was because I could open it and I could see that I was number 349 of 2,000 people in the world that owned this type of codex. I love that kind of prestige. The ultimate fix for scalpers, and this is never going to happen, but it is the ultimate fix. No one buys from scalpers. If nobody went to eBay and nobody right. So I said this on the stream we did the other night, right? Like I said to you, there's the Siege of Terror books at £800 on eBay with 22 bids. So when the 22nd bidder came in, it was already wildly inflated. Yeah. It was already going to be over £700, right? Easily. Yeah. So at the point in which he comes in and bids, he's consciously making a choice to spend an exceptional amount of money funding a scalper, is what he's doing. And what that scalper's going to do now, who's bought a £50 book from Games Workshop and probably successfully sold it for £850, is he's going to go, I'm fucking doing this again. Yeah. Isn't he? Ultimately. If he bought that £50 book that he didn't want, or he bought 5 of those, he got his boss to buy 5 of those £50 books that he didn't want, and he spent £250, and no one bought them from him, or at best he sold them for £50, guess what? He ain't doing it again. No. What's the point? He's made no money. So how we stop scalpers is we stop fucking buying from them.
Or what we do, right, is when...
Hunt them down, Joe.
Hunt them down and kill them. Yeah. Well, my most hated thing is getting, like we said before, the double box set. So, for instance, you had the Sisters of Battle versus the Drakari box set, which came with the new plastic Lilith in it and the new plastic Palatine, right? But we know that those models are coming out as individual models in 2 months' time.
Oh,
Which hurts my soul, right?
yeah, it does.
Karsakin.
Don't,
Which
Joe!
didn't even come out in the first line of releases for Guard. It came out in the third for some reason.
But not only did Karsakin finally get dropped as a Kill Team box, they're out of stock everywhere.
Yeah.
They're still going for stupid money on eBay.
So it hurts my soul. But we knew when Kill Team came out, and there were people spending upwards of £100 on Karsakin, right?
Well, I mean, arguably, people were buying the whole Kill Team box set at £120 just for the Karsakin.
But then you've got nice terrain as well.
We have ultimately.
Yeah, and then you sell the Necrons on for 20p because no one wants
Because they're
them.
fucking. And this is the other thing that I'm getting really sick and tired of GW. And this is a genuine. This almost feeds the scalper problem as well, Joe. Is that they're. Is it worth £120? No. We could sell it at 90. Just chuck some shit in there. Just chuck another fucking Redemptor in. Just put another Impulsor in. Just add more Intercessors. Because what Space Marine players who've been playing for the last 5 years probably need is more fucking Intercessors.
Do you know what they put into the new box set, the new Augustus, right? What they didn't need to was the heavy Intercessors. If they hadn't put those in, they could have sold that box set at 70. They could have put it as a new combat patrol, because no one
100%.
Because the only thing that isn't new in that box set is heavy Intercessors, which means that they've had to then go into production to ask to increase the production of heavy Intercessors.
So, and this is where it feels like to me what they've done is we've got loads of these that we made that we're just not selling. Just chuck them in that box. Now they'll argue, and I've seen this argument online as well. Well, the reason why they add heavy Intercessors is because then you can make a patrol detachment because you've got a HQ of troops, 2 heavies and an elite. So, is it really that difficult for an individual who buys this box? If they sold this box at £90 instead of £120 and just didn't include the heavy Intercessors, would it be that difficult for... In fact, okay, let's say someone is purchasing from GW, right? If you buy this box, not this box, but if you buy the Brutalis, the 2 Squads of Desolation and the Lieutenant, it was £90. And then you went, well, I need a patrol detachment, which you don't, because let's face it, that's not a thing anymore, because they've got rid of patrol detachments if you're playing Warzone Grand Tournament anyway. And I wanted to buy a box of, but I don't want heavy Intercessors because I don't fucking like them. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a box of Infiltrators. Well, that's £35. In fact, they might even be £37.50 now. What have I done at that point? I've spent more money than the £120 box, Joe.
Yeah.
I've bought more stuff.
Or you just don't buy heavy Intercessors and do Arcs of Omen and just buy a third heavy support choice.
I might buy 10 Hellblasters, which are £37.50 as well, I think.
Or you just buy the box set twice.
You are correct. They didn't need to put them in there. Yeah. It was a waste putting them in there. It feels like, and I've often felt like sometimes, the Necrons, I feel like we've got fucking loads of, no one's buying Immortals, just chuck them in that box.
My favourite one is that new box set that's coming out.
Which one?
The Vashtor Azrael one.
Have they shown what's in it?
They've shown the pictures and stuff of it. But what I'm trying to say is, right, we're trying to push Primaris. This new box set we've released is Primaris. We're making a big hoo-ha about the fact that Azrael has crossed the Rubicon to become Primaris. So it would make sense that everything that was in this box set for Dark Angels was Primaris. But we'll put Firstborn Terminators in there for some reason.
Which, let's face it, because of the way they've balked the fucking rules, they're not struggling to sell them anyway.
It's strange how the Deathwing Terminators became the single most broken unit in the game just before they dropped a box set that came with them in.
No. Stu Black said it's fine. Because he did a meta watch 14 days after they dropped it. He said it's fine.
After the LVO.
14 days.
Not LVO, yeah.
14 days of data. That's enough to say that the changes aren't a problem.
14 days of data with the world's biggest tournament ever.
One of the top tables this last weekend was Dark Angels versus Dark Angels. And one of the top tables at Beachhead, the final in fact, was Dark Angels versus Dark Angels.
Guess what World Eaters are going to really struggle against?
Dark Angels.
Yeah.
But it's not a problem Because Stu, they're fucking idiots, it's not a problem. Big shout out to Drapkin, who's upgraded to Jarl. Big shout out to Scott, who's upgraded to Jarl. Clearly, they want some of that tasty giveaway action.
Yeah.
Every month we do that giveaway. It only lasts for about 2 weeks. At some point, Gaz will set their little bot off because Gaz is a legend, and it normally ends on the last Tuesday of the month, just as the members only stream goes live, right? Meg says, did David give you the dice at Lehman Russ? Oh, okay. Yes, I've got a big box of dice for you in my car.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Toot.
Lehman saying thank you, Meg. I'm guessing he got out a super chat for him. But yes, I have got a box of dice for you. Thanks, Meg. Love you,
I'm
Meg.
very excited to see what's in there. Is it like a chopped off fingers?
It's sticky. It's a bit, yeah, it looks like dried super
If
glue.
I put my ear up to it, will it sound like the ocean?
No, it would sound like shame.
Sticky shame.
So I mean, I'm just I would love the opportunity. This is never going to happen, right? But I would love the opportunity to sit down at GWHQ with some of their more senior people and be like, "Can you explain why you do this?"
I think
Because I would love to know if they actually genuinely think it's a good idea and they genuinely think they're giving value.
I think as a business, that's the one thing Games Workshop needs to learn. Obviously, a lot of businesses are very much like this anyway. But like, because people that like Warhammer fucking love Warhammer. It's all consuming of my life. If I didn't play DMZ, like, it'd just be all Warhammer all the time.
Yeah.
I just sit there and paint all the time.
But we are playing DMZ
on
the channel.
What I do is I
Link
come
below.
here and I do Warhammer, and I go home and I sleep, and I wake up and I paint Warhammer. And then, if at the end of my day, what I do is I stop and I have dinner, I spend time with my family, and then I play DMZ. And then when I finish playing DMZ, I then paint more Warhammer, because I use it to help me wind down, to then go back to sleep, to then wake up and do more Warhammer, right? So people that do Warhammer are very much like me. They love it, right? But the problem is that Games Workshop, so we're releasing a thing, and people look at it and go,
I know.
like, we're releasing the new rules for the Chaos Terminators. And people look at them and go, why? And we've changed the points for all this stuff. And people are like, you're breaking everything.
They also-
But then they ask Games Workshop, and Games Workshop goes, it's fine. If Games Workshop was like, we're making this decision because of this.
Oh, Joe.
We've
Yes.
made this because in the FAQs they have designers' notes, right? When they released the Votan, right, and the world lost their mind rightfully because they were broke as shit, they were like, Eddie Eccles went online and he was like, we made a mistake.
I had so much respect for them right then.
Yeah, right, we made a mistake. We thought that they would be okay. Turns out, not having playtesters is silly. Right? They didn't say that. I added that part in my head, but
That was kind of the message though, right?
yeah. Like if we'd actually had people external to Games Workshop look at this and tell us if we were wrong, that might have influenced us. But however, then we made it, and then they were like, "We did it because of this, right?
Yeah.
We've thought of it because of this." They did the joke James Workshop video about something, who was like, "We did this because of this. We're doing this because of this." What we want is more of that from Games Workshop. We haven't got enough. If Games Workshop turn round, instead of just complete like radio silence about why no one's receiving their stuff, someone went online or they did a press release thing on Facebook, on Twitter, on things like, the reason you haven't received your stuff is because of these reasons.
Yeah.
We are trying to fix it by this.
Yeah, 100%.
This is how we will
I
compensate.
feel like this is just competent business practice, though, Joe, right? And I feel like there's too many big companies out there that just rely. Like, let's be clear. I've said this so many times as well. Take GW from 10, 15 years ago, and it was literally complete radio silence. You wouldn't even get a fucking FAQ or an update. You got nothing. So they have come a very long way as a business.
Although, thanks to those dark times, we ended up with the Start Collecting box sets, which were fucking brilliant.
But they have come a very long way since then, right? So I have to give them credit. As a business, they have evolved relatively rapidly. I feel like they're still quite far behind certain businesses in how they operate, but they have evolved rapidly. We had no YouTube presence, we had no Facebook presence, we had no Instagram presence, we had no Twitter presence, we had no Twitch presence, we had no YouTube presence, we had nothing. Although YouTube, Warhammer TV seems to have taken a big old step backwards. It's a topic for another day.
Their painting tutorials are taking a bit of a dive.
I mean, I'm not sure who's painting for them. I for a brief moment when I saw a finished model the other day, thought it was Stevie Wonder. But
go and watch the How to Paint the Brutalis models. It's got more knuckles and gaps in it than I don't know, the Grand Canyon.
I watched one recently which was How to Paint World Eaters, a white scheme, and I looked at the painting process and some of the close-ups. I was like, are you painting that with the brush in your mouth? Because I don't understand how you've done that and made it that rough. Like, at least when Peachy and Duncan were in, they were neat finished paint jobs.
There are C's and C's, hundreds and hundreds of Twitch painters out there making an okay living from painting models, right? So they know how to handle a camera, they know how to have screen presence, they know how to paint fucking models, right? Why is a Games Workshop going, you have a job and then you do this in your spare time,
but Jay,
why not we just pay you and this becomes your job?
So we could wander down the tangent of Warhammer TV, right? Warhammer Plus. There's people out there in the world making a lot of money off of an on-demand 40k channel. So Games Workshop could have gone to any of those people and gone, hey, we're going to bring you in at a high level. You're going to manage our whole content creation stream, etc., etc. And what they did, no, we know how to do it better. And they just started from scratch. Look at the app. Look at the Warhammer 40k app, right? What we've got, which we had before the Warhammer 40k app, was Battlescribe. What they probably should have done is go to the developers of Battlescribe and be like, hey, you guys who all service this for free, how about you don't do it for free anymore? How about we basically put you on retainer? We'll pay you money to keep it updated. So the thing that you're already doing for free, we're going to give you some money for, and we'll just skin it nicely. But ultimately, the workings of the app are still your workings because it fucking works. And guess what? We've had a Warhammer 40k app for years now, and we're all still using Battlescribe.
So Games Workshop is making flat money out of me at this point, right? Because I bought and I've paid the subscription for the Warhammer 40k and Warhammer TV since it came out. I watched Blood Angels, which was. I watched a couple of the Hammer and Bolter episodes. Some of them were actually very good. Some of them were terrible. But I've not watched any since.
No.
I've not watched any since Interrogator started. Never watched.
I did watch some of Louise's painting tutorials. Some of them were quite good.
Those are good.
The masterclasses.
Yeah, I watched a couple of those, but that's only because I was in the room when someone else was watching it, right? Otherwise, I've not used it.
Yeah.
Right, I've not touched it. So they've been taking the couple quid off me every month, right? And I've not touched it. The only reason I've done it is because I want the free models.
Yeah.
Right. And the last two that got released, the Chaos Terminator and the Chaos Sorcerer, were so bad I haven't even claimed them. Right.
That Terminator was fucking awful.
Right, I understand, right? Making a limited edition special model. This is a part of the scalping, right? A limited edition special model, right? For your subscription only process. Great way of beating scalpers because you can only have it if you pay for the subscription service for a whole year.
Yeah. And
you only get one, right? You do that, right? If you're gonna do one based off of artwork, choose nice artwork.
But isn't that a great way of doing limited edition?
Yeah. If I could only get limited edition stuff through the Warhammer 40k app, through Warhammer TV, I have no problem with that. If I had to buy White Dwarf and then put in a code on the Warhammer app, I'd do it every time. They'd be making an extra tenner off me basically a month because I have to go and get bloody White Dwarf.
Yeah.
And no one reads that anymore. My local shop, the local Spar around the corner from my house, all month has always got 4 White Dwarfs in it. I'm tempted to buy one because I feel sorry. Because clearly someone locally has asked for them to get it in for them. I felt that they're the only one buying it.
I, to be honest with you, mate, even with the scalper thing, like with all of what we spoke about today, you hit the nail on the head with I think what most of the community wants to see, and that's just flat better communication. Yeah. Now they've shown glimpses, they've shown glimmers of hope where they have done that. You're right with what you said. The Votan was a very, very real moment where I think a lot of people went, fair play, okay. Yeah. And I don't want them to come out publicly and air all of their dirty laundry and say, here's all of our failings. I don't want them to do that. I don't think any business is ever going to do that.
But if there's a thing that affects the whole base of their community, for instance, why doesn't my local shop, which I buy Warhammer models from, why doesn't it have any Warhammer models? Why aren't you sending them through? Why are they receiving new models from a pre-order 2 weeks after something I pre-ordered before?
Yeah.
Right? So there's a 2-week gap. There's just void when no one's receiving nothing.
Yeah.
Silly.
Thanks, Son of Olympia. I have to come up with $600 for an $80 book. Yeah, so Son of Olympia is one of those who wanted the Siege of Terror book.
I'm not surprised.
And missed it at the point which went on pre-order. Let's not forget that where he is, if I remember rightly, I think he's California way. So where he is, when it goes on pre-order at 10 o'clock in the morning in the UK, it's 2 a.m. for the US people. 2 a.m. And he missed the pre-order because it's fucking 2 a.m.
Online. Why don't they just sell it through their stores?
So he missed the pre-order because it's 2 a.m. and he now wants that book because I think he's got the rest of the collection. So he's one of those people who's got all the limited edition collection, but he's now looking at $600 plus for that Siege of Terror book. Yeah. It's just disgusting. And that's partly a Games Workshop problem. I'm sorry, I know people are going to go, it's not their fault. No, it is their fault because like when it's that kind of product, when it's that kind of item, I feel like one per customer, digital queue, capture gets introduced to the website. Yeah. So you have to be a human, where you click all the right buttons to make sure that you prove you're a human. You get one per customer and you put it in your cart in a queue and you get to check out.
Yeah.
Because the other problem that they're having quite often with big releases is website crashes.
Yeah.
Website's down. And then no one knows if they can get the product or not. So, Anyway, big shout out, Tim. Can't wait to see the exclusive Warhammer Plus World Eaters Lord and Terminator arm on the table when people get him. Oh, wait. Because you can't field a World Eaters Terminator Lord now.
Why I don't understand about that guy, right? Why didn't they modernise him to look like the current range of Terminators that they even fucking sell? It's like, his bolter looks like he could fit Coke cans down it. Like,
his bolter is the bit that makes it's the worst.
It looks like it was built by an orc. And then the orc looked at it and was like, "This is so stupid. Not even I want it." And they threw it off a cliff.
Just strapped a pair of fucking Pringles tubes together. That's the bolter.
And the pose is so one-dimensional. Like the reason it's in that pose is because it's on a piece of paper, and the artist was like, "Well, the piece of paper's flat." So
well, it's also a very old piece of artwork. I'm kind of torn.
Old, better artwork, right? It came out just after they've released this entire range of beautiful Black Templars, right? They released old Barnyard's Revenge, right? Right, with the stabbing thing, and they did all that kind of stuff. Why didn't they make that beautiful model that all Black Templars models people tried to convert, which is my personal favourite piece of artwork, where there's the Black Templar Standard Bearer, the Power Fist, and the Bolter. Mm-hmm. Why didn't they do that? That would have been incredible. I would have bitten multiple people's arms off to get that.
I think that... So I do understand them wanting to honour the artwork in the way in which they were building the Terminator to a point. So I kind of like that. Like they did it with the sister, the Canoness, was it? The Canoness with the foot on the skull.
Yeah.
But I think they did a good job with that one. I think they did a good job with that model. So I totally get them honouring artwork, and I think that that's something that I'm not going to criticise. But you need to give people that are then rendering a 3D model some creative freedom. To go, okay, this is fine on a piece of paper, but it looks a bit derpy as a model.
Yeah.
So we're going to make him with his bolter raised and his chain fist back, and we'll have the exact same face with the grimace on it because we can. We're honouring the artwork.
That new Dawn of Fire, Howling Griffin model they just released, with the Primaris Captain with the Power Fist and the Plasma Pistol, he looks great.
Yes.
And they didn't. And guess what? They took the idea of him from the artwork and then made a model of him that's not like the artwork, but it's still a nice model, right? And I know the fact they chose the Terminator and the Chaos guy because it's the year of Chaos, right? There's a lot better other Chaos artwork. There's that beautiful one from the 13th Black Crusade book where Abaddon's holding a burning planet in his hands. I would have paid actual money for that. I wouldn't have even wanted it for free. I would have paid them the money for that limited edition model.
Yeah.
Picture of Abaddon holding a burning world. That would have been amazing. But they're like, no, we're going to take old Banana Gun Man, Pringle Lord, and...
Pringle Lord. Pringle Lord's I've got him in the office. Because he's World Eaters, I've got him in the office, and I held the box, which is still sealed, soon to be seen on eBay. I'm joking. And I was like, no, even on the box it looks stupid. It wasn't just so. There's obviously been occasions. Angron, right? Angron. Oh, he's in the car still from the weekend. Angron is an occasion where the photos. I looked at the photos. I was like, I'm a World Eaters lover. and I'm not blown away by Angron. Okay, I didn't open the box, so when I got my World Eater, okay, I said to you earlier there'll be a reason why I've got a second Angron, right? When I first got the World Eater stuff through from Games Workshop, which they very kindly sent me, and they sent me an army's worth. They sent me Angron, Lord Invocatus, 30 Berserkers, and 3 boxes of 8-bound. When they sent them through to me, I purposely didn't open the boxes up because I knew for a fact that if I started looking at those model kits, I wouldn't give them to Joe. I'd be like, mine, they're mine. Yeah. Right?
So we'd never see them on the channel.
Exactly. So I knew then that we wouldn't get them ready for the launch time because I just don't build and paint as fast as you do because I'm...
You build?
But yeah, so I gave them all to you and you got them ready for release, which I'm eternally grateful for, and we've been seeing them on the channel and the content's doing really, really well. In fact, we've gained a load of people that have said, I became a subscriber because of your World Eaters content, which is great, that's amazing, right, that's super cool. I've then gone and bought all of my own World Eater stuff to make my own World Eaters armor, which I'm actually thinking about painting in Heresy colours because the sculpts are so fucking incredible.
Did a really nice white and red version, so instead of the blue shoulder pad and the blue hat, they did red shoulder pads and red hat.
I've seen some of those, they look quite nice.
Really nice.
So I have a second Angron model in there because the sculpts are just so incredibly cool. Now, one of the reasons why I have a second Angron model is because once I gave Joe the first one, and he went away and he built it and painted it and he brought it back to me, and he put it on the table, I was like, oh, actually, I looked at the artwork and I wasn't bothered by it. No. I wasn't interested in it. I didn't care. I was like, I'm a bit disappointed by Angron. I don't think he looks that good. And I said something which I've now seen other people say, where I was like, Mortarion is very clearly Mortarion and Magnus is very clearly Magnus. Magnus doesn't look like a Lord of Change and Mortarion doesn't look like a great and clean one, but Angron just looks like a Bloodthirster. And I said the same thing until I had the model in my hand and I was like, I don't think he looks as much like a Bloodthirster as I once thought he did now. I think he actually looks like Angron.
It's because of his pose, because he's leant over, everything's hidden from the wings. What they should have done, we said this before, is when they photographed him, they should have put him up high and like on a hill. And photographed up
a better angle.
Yeah.
If you look at the photo and think that doesn't look that great, take another fucking photo.
Yeah.
So with the Terminator Lord, I was like, if I build this model, am I going to think it? And I'm like, no, I don't think there's any way you save that model. I think it's impossible. Lehman, thank you for the 79p. And then Son of Olympia, not 2 AM. I think they allocate 500 per time zone. So at 11 AM, the books sell out in 4 minutes and you're battling the entire West Coast USA to connect to their website. Wow. Is that, I mean, if they do at least allocate 500 per time zone, that's better than I thought they would do. I thought they would just go, it's live at 10 AM UK time everywhere. So I'll give them some credit.
It's because what happens normally is that you'll get people who will wake up and then look at the New Zealand website to see the prices of things, like.
I mean, that's not relevant though, because the New Zealand price is like, here's the normal price, just double it.
Yeah, double it.
Let's just really fucking rip them off.
Put in a deed for a remortgage on the house, you know. Yeah.
Shocking, it's shocking, isn't it? But I mean that World Eaters Terminator Lord. That's for me. That's it's an example of limited edition that's kind of done right because you can only have it if you do an annual subscription to the website. But it's also done badly because it's just a flat terrible offering.
Because no one wants it.
Because it's not.
And if you see it online for sale online, it doesn't sell very well.
Is it not?
No. Strangely.
I might go in there after this and build it in front of you, just so you can be sick in your mouth.
I like the stuff that's for like the store openings. So you can buy it like a store birthday or a new store opening or an anniversary. You go in and you buy the cool champion with the sword. That's a beautiful model. But you can only buy him from the store. But the rules tend to be is you go in, you pay for him, and then he gets posted to you. I
like the idea of. Also, one of the other things I like is the idea of the limited edition models being usable. So there's a couple of occurrences like this Terminator Lord, but they're just not fucking really usable.
The new champion model, this new beautiful Primaris chapter champion, right? Who you just can't use because there is no Primaris champion in the Codex, and his rules are legends.
But it's also where they brought out the Catachin Colonel. Gorgeous model.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning model. So I thought, oh, cool, we'll get a whole new Catachin range. Now, granted, you can use the Catachin Colonel because you can just take it as a Castellan, right? But you have to, if you want to go full Catachin, go all old derpy Catachin models.
Yeah.
That
I honestly thought when you had Sly Marbo, you had the new guy from Predator, the vest lady.
Best lady, yeah.
Right? I thought, we're getting a lot of
Catching characters.
characters.
Yeah, this is good.
This bodes well for the future, because maybe, right, and then they do a Plastic Krieg. I was like, they're doing Plastic Krieg. We've got Plastic Catachans. We might see a full new release of Plastic Catachans, because I'll be all over that if they do. I would just immediately just get a whole army of Catachans and give them cool, funky, sexy bases like the Tyranids.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing. The Krieg didn't even get character models. They got one squad.
But there's another whole miss. This is a wild tangent from the topic now, but that's another whole missed opportunity.
We do another show called Games Workshop Missed Opportunities.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, because I mean, I think most people out there probably looked at the Kriegers and was like, we're going to get Plastic Krieg. No, just that one squad.
Why didn't they, when they did the Cadian
good man.
upgrade box set, why didn't they do a Krieg one
with
a banner in it? And arms for the kneeling guys so they can use the new Cadian heavy weapon teams.
The thing is, as well, I would argue that to some extent there will always be a select group of people that would complain that they're just profiteering off of this. But I feel like most people just buy that. They're just printing money at that point. Right? If they go, hey, you know your Krieg kill team box that you've got? Here's an upgrade sprue so you can convert the 2 kneeling guys into a heavy weapons squad, and you can convert this guy into a standard bearer. You convert this. Like, I feel like if they did that, people go, okay, take my money.
Because they did the same thing with Chaos Space Marines. There's the Chaos Space Marine box set, and then there's the Legionnaires box set, which comes with an additional sprue which they released in Kill Team. so it wouldn't be a million miles away from them going, here's the Krieg Veteran Squad, here's the Krieg Veterans Plus.
Sometimes I genuinely just think that the people in charge of Games Workshop are on drugs. Honestly, they're all over the place. It just seems very, like, I feel like it's very fragmented. Like we saw the Eldar, like we've had piecemeal Eldar releases which have updated certain aspect warriors. So we saw an update to Howling Banshees, and we got Jainsar, and then we saw an update to Shining Spears, and we saw an update to Dark Reapers, and I'm like, okay, we've still got Finecast, Swooping Hawks, Warp Spiders, which I think were like 1997. They came like they're a 29-year-old kit.
They didn't even get updated when they updated from 4th edition to 5th. So there was a period where you had plastic Eldar, metal Eldar. Then they did the rebrand in 3rd, 4th edition, and that was just flat bad. They took it off Jez Goodwin, right, and gave it to someone else. And what I feel like happened is Jez Goodwin ran into this guy's office at night and then just completely fucked them. Yeah. And then he came in the morning. He's like, "Oh no, it's destroyed!" And the bosses were stood there waiting. They're like, "It's got to go." And he's like, "Fine, take this." And then they released him, and they were like, "This is bad. Get Jez back in. He'll fix it."
A couple more postcards. Can you give the dice for Joe live? Yeah, well, I can give them to him tonight on Members Only stream. I'm not going to go to the car now, but because they're in the car.
This unnerves me. It's like a Jack in the Box, but it's just snakes.
Yeah, it's just a severed penis. That's all I've seen. inside.
It's not mine because mine's attached.
No, it's just Lehman's severed penis. Oh, it's in there for you.
That's weird.
That's how much he loves you. Yeah,
it's like the film Teeth.
Yeah, I can give it to you tonight on the Members Only stream.
Nice.
If you want. Well, I won't give it to you tonight. We'll just have it on the table.
Be aware, right? So this weekend, my partner treated me to go see the Bovington Tank Museum.
Yes,
right? I've said this.
You have. You've said this on the Call of Duty stream yesterday.
And I was so excited because I've never been to Bovington Tank Museum, and I love tanks. Right?
It's a great place,
and it was great. But the problem that my partner revealed, which some other people have said, is that my face is not very good at showing how I feel internally.
No, you don't look happy on the photos.
Like, I was having a great time. I was really excited because I got to see the Tetrarch.
All of your photographs, you look like you're holding a fart.
Yeah. So I got to see the Tetrarch tank because the Tetrarch is my favourite tank. It's a tiny tank that you put into a plane or a glider and you crash it into the French hilltops and then you drive off like a madman and you shoot stuff, right? I was so excited. Apparently, my face did not convey
it doesn't. No,
convey the emotions I was feeling at the time. So I had to keep telling my partner because she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm having a great time." I had to keep reassuring her that I'm actually enjoying myself.
Yeah.
So if I receive
it's the same during sex.
If these dice come in and they're lovely, I'm sorry if my face doesn't show that.
Right? I feel like there's too much hype about the dice now.
Yeah.
Too little super chats. Warmaster Will, thank you. If it's deathcore, I will consume it. Will has a problem.
I've heard how he stores it. He doesn't deserve them. He literally he has thousands and thousands of pounds worth of Krieg infantry dumped in a biscuit tin.
Yeah, but I love Will.
Oh, he's a lovely chap, but he doesn't deserve those models because he treats them. He's like Miss Trunchable.
I mean, he's paid for them. They're his models.
No.
That you can't.
Okay, I'm one of those people that I'd go into someone's house that had spent £200 on a model. I've seen people that have bought 4-year-old Titans. They've spent more on a model than I do on rent for a month, right? And they put it together with so much glue, it looks like they've basically used flour and egg at this point to make a gross paste, and then they've painted it horribly. I want to go into these people's houses and confiscate it from them.
I was on the 4-year-old website this weekend sobbing. I wanted to buy 2 assault claws for the World Eaters and another Chaos Warhound Titan. I looked at the prices and I can't afford. I mean, times are tight right now, chat. I was like, I can't even just like one assault claw, which is a toughness 6 9 wound transport, is £79, Joe. One claw. And I want 2.
Let's be honest, right? They've made their money on that black plastic drop pod kit. So they should just write off the cost of the drop pod and just charge you the resin.
So 2 of them is £160 basically, and I was like, but £160.
Do you want me to bring mine in and you can just run a black one for a while?
No,
I'll just put it on here.
No.
Although I can only put it down on the table because it comes with a flying stand, right? But they haven't moulded in a part of the Dreadclaw that goes onto the drop pod.
Oh really?
You have a separate adapter that goes onto the flying stand, and then it kind of clips on, but it doesn't hold very tight. So the moment you move it, it falls off.
Could you not put like fuck off great big magnets in it?
You could.
So you put the adapter on the flying stand, go clonk, magnetise it on.
The downside is I lost the adapter. I put it to one side because I was going to do it, and I lost the adapter. So now I just have a drop pod that just sits on the table and just...
Well, at least you have one, Joe. I can't afford one right now, so, think yourself lucky.
You can have the one I homemade.
No, I don't want that. No, I want the real one.
With bits of wood
Stephen says, I'm using Azrak, who's the Chaos Terminator, for my Carcharodons. Just have to file off all those filthy corn symbols. I was about to say, how dare you? And then I saw that he dropped 5 gifted memberships.
Nice, what a hero.
What a legend.
You can stay.
That's many memberships.
I've seen some people that have done... like Flesh Terrors, Carcharodon Terminators, but they've used the Chaos Terminators, and they've come off quite nicely. Especially like I've seen a cool conversion where they've used the Chaos Terminators and had a chaplain because obviously they've got big skulls and stuff on them. They're very pretty. You guys have got 5 minutes by the way to get your questions in via super chat or gift memberships, whatever you want to do before we're going to say goodbye. Start getting ready for tonight's stream, which is going to be fun. Space Marines on Space Marines, but I'm interested to see how this one goes. This one's going to be a big punch-up tonight as well, which is interesting. So, cool. Yeah. Anyway, so scalpers, they're a problem, Jay. Scalpers are a problem. Stop trying to read. You can't. Scalpers are a problem. I think... They are. I mean, I don't think that my solution is ever actually going to be something that happens. My solution of just don't buy is not going to happen. So I do believe, personally, as per the title of the video, GW needs to do more to stop them. Yeah. So like I said, if we look at a capture type thing, so you can't use bots, if we look at a 1 per customer rule, if we look at a queuing system online, these are all things that have existed for a very, very long time. I feel like they need to build in some more resilience to their particular website because it just typically crashes quite a lot. So that's a problem for a lot of people. I think they need to do more to make sure that the genuine customers, with limited edition, there is always going to be disappointment, right? So if you've got 1,000 or 2,000 limited edition books, the 2,001st person, you could have 2,000 genuine customers and genuine fans buy those books, and a 2,001st person who's a genuine customer and a genuine fan who misses out. That's always going to happen. Yeah. But that feels bad is often, I think, less bad if you then don't see 20 of them on eBay for £800. Do you know what the worst one they did? The worst one. And what made it bad was the fact that it was done with such kindness in Games Workshop's part, and then scalper douches took full advantage. The Catachan kernel, right? Because of COVID, Games Workshop gave the Catachan kernels to stores for free with no RRP. They were like, you can charge whatever you want for this limited edition model, right? And most stores put it up for 20, 25 quid. 25 quid, here's your Catachan kernel, limited edition. People were mad for it. Some stores like who made all those other stores that sold at 25 quid, put it up on eBay as a charity auction, right?
That's fine.
It's
fine. Charity. That's fine.
It's charity. That's fine. And then there were some people that were like, £800, please. Like, that's silly. Like, like no one's going to buy that.
I have one in my office.
Yeah.
Sealed.
Yeah. But like, I like the stores that had them, and a lot of stores did this, kept hold of them, didn't sell them, and then used them for giveaways and prizes at events, because then it went to people that are actually playing the game.
I have one in my office sealed, and I am wildly torn between keeping it for the guard or doing some sort of charity auction with it.
What they could do.
But what I wouldn't do ever is put it on eBay at £200. I just wouldn't do it. And do you know what I could do, Joe? This is the thing as well. Some of the things that annoy me about kind of like integrity, essentially, right? I could take that cash and kernel today. I've just said to you that I can't afford the 2 assault claws that I want. Right, times are tight right now, and short times are tight for everybody. I can't afford the 2 assault claws that I want to buy. What I could do is I could put that catch and kernel on eBay for £160. I could.
Yeah.
And I would instantly better go and buy my two assault claws if I wanted to. Won't do that. That kernel either goes into my guard army because he's a beautiful model, or I do a charity-based auction for him. Yeah. What I don't do is profiteer off the fact that people are still desperate for that model.
What they should do, for limited edition stuff then, here's an idea. They should take a leaf out of Warlord's book, right? Warlord has got great tournament support.
So the Warlord is bolt action for those who don't know.
Bolt action, right? Or
that's their main product,
Gates
right?
of Antares.
Yeah, but bolt action is their main product.
So what I do is you go, I'm doing a tournament, and they go, can you prove you're doing a tournament? And you go, yes. Here is my website selling tournament tickets. Here are the pictures of my tables. Here is where I'm running the tournament. Right, and they go, cool. We will send you, as a tournament organizer, a TO pack. And that comes with certificates for first, second, third place. You get, and then you get 4 box sets of models. So recently it was like the new Italian range because they were new, and then there's some like American infantry. And then there's some cool dog tags. And then there's like a giant inflatable artillery shell. And then there's the coveted gold order dice. Yeah, very pretty, these order dice, right? So, and then you're supposed to give those away as prizes. And then obviously you have to prove after the tournament that you have given them away from prizes, which is why all bolt action events always have photographs taken for everyone that wins. Right, so if you've got the gold dice, it means that you've won an event, or you're the best painted, or you're the favourite games, right? Games Workshop could do that for limited stuff, because they already do it for like Shadespire and stuff like that. If you go to a Shadespire event, you get limited edition cards, you get limited edition objective markers, right? They should do that. Like if you, the Catcher and Colonel could have been a first place prize for tournament winners.
Have you seen their prize support for 40k events? It's pretty toilet.
It's
you get a nice glass trophy for first place.
Yeah.
It just says store champion.
Yeah.
It's not great.
But I liked it when they did a couple of events where they gave everyone that attended the event a pack of secondary objective cards.
Yeah, so we applied for their tournament support pack once. Considering our GTs are currently sold at 40 tickets an event, we're soon about to push them to 60 tickets an event, right?
Yeah.
And they sent us like 20 secondary packs, 40 players, so you can have half a secondary deck each, I guess. And one glass trophy. And it was like, okay, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're giving this out for free. Yeah. It's tournament support. I get that, and I get that there's a bajillion 40k tournaments right now, but it just wasn't very tailored to an event. Like, I feel like they should be going to like, okay, this is LGT, potentially 1,000-person event. Here's our prize support. It's big. Okay, here's Liam's little event at Factorum. It's not that big. Here's a smaller prize support, but you just, no matter who you are, you get the same prize support pack.
Yeah.
Which seems a bit, and some of the bigger ones that are now supported by Warhammer TV do get a little bit more support, obviously. But and they've now released this is a whole other video, the new like World Championships or whatever they're calling it.
Oh, you have to apply.
No, you have to win an event.
If you win the event and you get tickets and accommodation in Vegas or something, isn't it?
Yeah, we will.
But what happens if you win multiple events? What if Manny wins all the majors in the UK?
Which
Which is more than likely because his list is turbo, right?
No. Stu Black said it's not a problem, Joe.
No, what I'm saying is if he goes and wins all those events, right? Say he wins the 10 majors in the UK.
Which is a possibility
Which
with
is
Manny.
a possibility with him, right? Does that mean that he takes up all the slots for the UK participant?
He gets 10 goes at winning the World Championship.
Or do they give it to second place?
Bobby, thank you so much for the donation. I don't chat much, but I appreciate all you guys do. Please keep up the great work. Thank you, you're a hero. That seems like a beautiful way to end the stream, right? So tonight is a members-only stream at 7:30.
Yeah, so if you watch...
1750 points of brand new Flesh Terrors. If you want to watch it and you're not a member, then just hit the member link below or ! member or go onto the channel and click the join button. You need to be a Scald tier member or above to get access to our members-only content. Okay, Jarl tier gets giveaway. Haskals get behind-the-scenes content on YouTube. Thanes get access to the Only Thanes WhatsApp chat. Acers get sucked off by Joe. So, yeah, he's not aware that's coming, but it's a thing. But if you want to watch our members-only content, if you want to hang out with us, every Tuesday we have a members-only stream, and every other Saturday we're chucking out a members-only battle report. Nice. This Saturday, Joe takes control of the Ultramarines for the first time against World Eaters. I'm not playing this week, I don't feel like, because there's been a lot of World Eaters content on the tabletop.
Give him a week off.
Yeah.
So does it mean that who's playing on Thursday? Is it me and Padua?
Yeah. Is that, or would you rather I play Paddy?
No, I can play Paddy. It's my
chat
turn.
plays.
No, it's my turn to take that.
It's chat plays though.
Yeah.
So
that's all right. I might run them again. If I can get, I need to get my other dreadnoughts done.
Yeah.
2K.
So chat plays on Thursday.
Yeah.
Beautiful fun. Right. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today for the Liam and Joe show. We hope to see you this evening at 7:30. I will put a notification in Discord because the bot doesn't do it for me when it's members only. You guys have been amazing. Thank you for all your support in February. We've got one more stream to go. You've been incredible. I love you so very dearly. And then tomorrow we start the whole brand new month again, and I can just start the grind for another month.
Yeah. But it's fun though, isn't it?
Yes. That's what I keep telling myself.
Yeah. It's fun. You get to play Warhammer with me.
I mean, I do. That's one of my favourite things in the world.
So
playing Warhammer with you. Even if it wasn't my job anymore, I would still be playing Warhammer with you, Jay. Good. Yeah. Right. Thank you so much for watching. I have to go in game actually before we do this. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye. Have a wonderful time.